morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading room. Oh dear, hold on a second here. There we go. Show you the warning from the government telling you you need to be careful with your trading. You should only risk money you can afford to lose. Always good advice. Makes trading much easier. All right, yesterday's session looking much more impressive here on the daily chart. I like consulting the daily chart for a little bit of a bird's eye view, if you excuse the pun. Yesterday's session, very quiet overall. While we saw wild swings, but most of this move higher came in the overnight, which is a little unusual. But we find ourselves trading back here at some very significant numbers, 7,800, perhaps the most noteworthy. That's where the market topped out before. It made a drastic move lower. You're also going to notice that on these bars going higher, we have volume tapering off. I see a couple new names in the room here this morning. Welcome. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what you're looking at here. You just saw the daily NASDAQ chart. I have the complete DTS system here along with the Raptor. So in the top left, I have the Hawk Micro Scalper, top right, Falcon Swing Trader, bottom left, Eagle Trend Trader. These three tools all went into developing the Raptor. The Raptor is a hybrid. It incorporates elements of the Scalper, the Swing Trader, and the Trend Trader all into one system. The market I like to follow is the NASDAQ. That's kind of my favorite. I am adding data, so if there's another market you would like to see, please don't be shy to ask. And certainly if you have questions, please ask. It makes the morning go by a little bit faster. And that's why I'm here. That's what I'm here for, to answer your questions. Okay, a big tumble out of bed here as the NASDAQ takes a nice bounce off of the hard edge here on the Eagle. There is your first in-sync Eagle trade of the day. And of course, this one working out as well. Go figure, it still bugs me. The one I did last week was the one that failed, but there you go. It does work the vast majority of the time. When you take your first in-sync signal of the day. So what I mean by in-sync is our trading band is stacked in a bearish fashion. So we would take the first signal to sell, and that occurred right here. And a very, very nice move lower. Shoot, we're 5 minutes into the day. Your trading day could be done. Now, if you're a Raptor owner, you don't need to feel left out. You can do the exact same thing on the Raptor. You look for which way your bands are stacked, and they need to be stacked. You don't want to see this kind of nonsense where you're kind of waffling, or even worse, they're twisted up like a rope. That doesn't count. You want your bands to actually have a directional bias to them, as we do right here. And either of these would qualify as your first in-sync signal, either your number 1 cloud crossover or your number 3 hard edge bounce. No counter trend signals, please. And there you go. Also a very, very nice move lower. So it does appear right now as though we have a bit of a bearish bent on the day. I imagine, well, we're getting a little bit of a pushback at this point. We shall see if the buyers can hold on. The Falcon already producing a trend change signal. The Raptor a little bit ahead of the curve with that number 2 signal down here, and the market moving back to the hard edge as anticipated. That's your target, by the way, for the number 2 signal, is the hard edge of the trading band. Well, what do we think? Are the buyers going to try to dig in now? It's still early. Why ask for trouble? We have our typical test, retest type pattern going on. If you called this your trading range or trading channel, here's your breakout, here's your retest. If you were inclined, now that we have a couple of bars against, you could put your just in case order to buy right here, because what we're looking at is we saw the market break out of this trading channel. Now it's retesting. Now we're going to see whether it can stay out of the trading channel or not. In fact, now that we have a couple of counter bars the other way, so we got a couple of sell bars, now we got a couple of buy bars. You could, if you were inclined, you could pinch the market. You kind of have it between a rock and a hard place right now. And we can throw in our anticipated profit targets, which on the Eagle we would look for a 10-point move. Okay, we're in the hard edge. Looks like we're going to get a green bar sell. There we go. There's a green bar sell. We no doubt have corresponding signals on the other tools, but I'm just going to stay with this one for now. Okay, we've hit our, or I think we tagged our swing target. Come on, get down there. Ron's asking, are you using 6, 8, or 12 ticks on the Eagle? The default for the Eagle is 12, so that's what I'm using. Hooray! So that worked out nicely, just like it was supposed to. Gotta like it when that happens. Here, I'll show you my Eagle settings. They're just the defaults. You know, we give you the option to play with the bar sizes and whatnot, but honestly, we did a lot of planning before this was released. We did a lot of testing, a lot of planning, and we kind of settled on some defaults. I think it was actually Ray Burke who did the bulk of the testing, but long story short, we ended up with a 12-tick brick. For most markets trading at $10 per tick or less. That would include things like the Russell, the NASDAQ, the mini Dow, gold, crude, etc., etc. And as is often the case, we get a little bit of a reaction once we hit the hard edge, doggone it, hit our profit target. Okay, so that's one for the good guys. That's us. They are struggling here with the bottom end of these recent lows. Excuse me. And as such, we may develop another sideways trading range. Now, the rule of thumb is if you have a trend coming into your trading range, there's probably a better than 90% chance the market will break in the direction it has been going. Which makes you wonder, why did it pause in the first place? But yeah, it's what it does. Now, breakouts are always dicey. A trading friend of mine always used to say, never trust a breakout, which is why we typically allow the market to break out. Then we look for the retest. Once we have the breakout and the retest, we can put our just in case order to sell down here. And then when we have the attempt at a trend resumption, well, as you just saw with the other trade, now we have the market really in a bit of a bind, because it will either continue now with the trend, or pardon me, it will either continue with the trend and the breakout, or it will fail and go the other way. The hard part is waiting. We don't like to wait. 6 seconds for microwave popcorn? Are you kidding? Now, quite honestly, after that nice little eagle trade, and seeing that I normally have a 2, maybe 3 trade quota on the day anyhow, I would probably be inclined to call it a day. You know that? The way the market has kind of been constipated after the open, I may be very content just to take my $200 per contract and say, well, thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow, and see if I can get a good tea time, as I'm up this early anyhow. That is a mistake that most traders make. I'm going to say 90% of traders, because that is the commonly accepted statistic for the number of people that lose money trading. Translate that into, that's how many people overtrade. Remember, I know you're getting tired of hearing this, but for the benefit of the new people in the room who eyes don't glaze over when I start to mention this, you make money trading not by trading more often, but by trading more contracts. This is not a production line. We are not going to chase every single signal around. We're going to look at finding the best opportunities and then capitalizing on those. Like right now, the market's looking rather sideways, isn't it? Got a lot of the candy striping going on. So we may say, well, maybe I shall wait, because Eric says I should have a trade quota. I should only trade, well, if you're just starting out, you should only trade once a day. And ideally, you can make $100 on your trade. If you're at the place where you're making profit consistently, trading once a day, now you can try to find 2 winning trades a day. And once you're consistently profitable on 2 trades, now you can introduce a 3rd. Once you're consistently profitable trading 3 times a day, you may choose to add a 4th. But I will tell you, it is the rare day where I go 4 for 4. Usually a loser will sneak in there someplace. So how do you make money trading? Well, if you're making $100 a day on a single contract, that's $20,000 a year approximately. If you build your account to a position now with that 20,000 where you can trade 2 contracts, well, now that's $200 a day or $40,000 a year. 3 contracts, you can do the math, $300 a day. 5 contracts, $500 a day. 7 contracts, $700 a day. And I know there's, there's people in the room that do that. And it's a hard lesson to learn, because we come to trading, with this idea of what it means to be a day trader. And we think, it's like a boiler room environment. It's going to be really fast paced, and we're just going to be clicking that buy and sell button, and we're going to look like rock stars because of we can tell people where the market's going next. Not really. But I get people coming to me for coaching, and I almost feel like I should do a little coaching video and sell them that. Because I say the same things over and over and over. Stop over trading. Don't strangle your trades. Take profit on target. Yes, I know. I'm a fine one to talk about that, but it's true. You do those 3 things consistently, you will make money trading. Thanks, Keith. Keith says, I'm not tired of hearing it. I'll put the soapbox away for a little while now. But honestly, this is why we're trying to be traders, isn't it? You don't want to sit in front of the computer all day, every day. We're doing this so we can get in, make our money, get out, and go do something fun. Hit the golf course, get out on the water, do some fishing, play around in the dirt and do some gardening, plant some flowers. Or if you're like my missus, I got a to-do list as long as your arm. She really does hate to see me sitting still for too long. All right, we're getting another breakdown now. So once again, you have your whole test retest scenario. And you can do this also on the Raptor, right? If you find it a little confusing on the scale, you could build two Raptor charts, right? If you kind of lose track of where the trading range is, you could build a bigger Raptor chart. You could make a 12-tick Raptor chart as well. You will need to adjust your cloud sizes, however. So here we have the breakout, we have the retest. So at this point, you could put your just in case order to short. All right, so we saw the sellers attempt to regain market control, and the buyers were playing possum, just hiding down here, and they rallied them up. And now we'll see whether the sellers are lying in wait, in which case they're probably going to jump all over the buyers. It's important that you wait for a trading range to establish itself as well. If you get too quick, this is not necessarily a trading range. There will be times the market may poke lower or higher one more time and fool you. So if it looks like a trading range, it probably is a trading range. Now, in the case of the Eagle, I like to see at least two bars moving in opposite directions. So this now is the sellers trying to knock the buyers back down. I better turn my chart trader back on. And once again, you can look to set your profit objectives. With the Eagle, it's 10 ticks. You could go for the more modest 9-tick target, which would be our same as our Raptor and Falcon. If you want it to be safer, and I'm using air quotes when I say that, you could try to buy above this little swing right here. Oh, there we go. We got I'm not going to call it a rule of three yet. This wasn't that much of a test of the extreme, but as this is potentially counter trend, I will go with the more modest profit objective. Oh, hooray for us. All right, so we bagged two good trades here on the Eagle. Let me show you their counterparts on the other tools. The Hawk, well, you know the Hawk's going to give us a first micro macro crossover. There, well, I guess technically it came right here. If you took it right on the hash mark, you took a little heat, big deal, market goes up. The Hawk actually giving you a first micro macro cross on the breakout as well, coming down, hitting its scalp target, followed up with another one coming down, hitting its scalp target. And then two solid Hawk signals going higher. So If you're the kind of person that needs the adrenaline rush, the hawk is for you. Here on the Falcon, we got a quickie little trend change signal followed by a late filter entry signal, both in sync with the Bollinger Suite, which is kind of nice. A little added layer of confirmation, and a quick little uptick, at least enough to find the profit target. And here, last but not least, on the Raptor, I think, yeah, we bought in right here. We bought in right here. This is what I would refer to as an early number one signal. It's not going to print. It's one of these things that you start to recognize after you've used the tool for a little while. But we've got the clouds changing direction. They're almost fully crossed, and we produce a buy signal. The number one signal will not produce until the clouds are fully crossed. So it's occurring right here. Oh, and nice follow through on that signal as well. So a couple of opportunities to get in on the Raptor. Although I have to admit, it was probably easiest to spot on the Eagle. Oh, and look at that. They went up all the way to the Eagle target too. Well, okay, so I'm 2 for 2 now, and like I said before, my trading day would be done. I'm up $300. Thank you very much. Per contract. I like to reinforce that. While we're sitting here waiting, I do need to close the room early today, so we're going to close it at the bottom of the hour. And for the remainder of the week, sorry, I gotta get into the big city. Got a couple of appointments. And next week, no trading room. I don't know yet if I have to cancel it for the week. I'm going to be out of town at least Monday, Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it back on Wednesday. So I'll know by Friday whether I have to cancel it for the week. But you know, jet setter than I am. Our daughter is down in Las Vegas right now, where it is a touch on the toasty side. I know it's not hot for those of you who live that part of the world, Nevada, Arizona, Southern California. I had the opportunity to speak to a Raptor owner from South Africa about a year or so ago. And it was summertime here, so it's winter in South Africa. And I asked her, what are the temperatures like in South Africa? I've never been. She said, oh, it's so cold. I got the heater on. I've got 2 sweaters on. I can't get warm. It's 19 degrees. Now this is centigrade, so that would be like 70 degrees, 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And I had to laugh. I said, what do you think the air conditioning in my car is set at? said, do Canadians, do they really go swimming when it's like 70 degrees out? Yeah. She said, you don't wear a jacket or anything? I said, no, we'd sweat. It's all relative. Okay, this is kind of interesting. We're getting a late filter entry signal here to short on the Falcon. The late filter entry, when the filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. The trend line never changing color. Oh, give me a little bit of a second push and we might look at that. Now, to be clear, as I mentioned before, my trading day would be done, but we got a half an hour here still, so we should try to find a potential trade. The Bollinger Suite, very, very thin, very, very neutral. This tends to happen before a breakout. And with the more modest Falcon target of $100, there is the potential here. Now, if we break these lows, the market will definitely shoot lower. So we got primary support near the lows. 76.21, that is a long ways down. But I guess that would fill the gap from the other day. All right, so I'm going to adjust my stops somewhat. Realistically, I can't cover above the high, but keeping my stop right here is too close. Ideally, stops should be 2 swings back. And you shouldn't micromanage that. You shouldn't say, oh, there's swing 1, there's swing 2. I'll put my stops right there. Well, no, not really. Otherwise, conversely, you can use a swing in one of your trend lines. Like these are always areas of support or resistance as well. Not liking the blowback that we're getting here. Come on, you guys. Come on. Okay, if the market turns lower at this point, I'm going to become much more aggressive with my stop. Come on, give me a couple of bars. Yeah, stinkers. The reason being the trade isn't working the way it was planned. Right? We had a solid signal. Yes, I was in a little bit late. I suppose if I'd taken it on the hash mark, 91, oh yeah, we probably hit our profit target. Oh dear, that's not looking good. We got the trend change going the other way. Now, I don't often reverse on a position, but I will this time. I'm going to consider a reverse. remember the best stop really is still up here, but I'm not going to risk it that far. All right, so they tapped me. I'm going to put my stop loss order in first. And I'm going to roll it up here a little bit because, again, I don't want to risk that much. And we're in at 7,700. So I'm going to try here for an eagle target, which would be 10 points. There we go. Sometimes not getting the trade to work tells you which way the market is truly positioned to go. So they didn't want to go lower. So while a loss was incurred, at least we know there's the potential to go higher. Now we are at our swing target. We just kissed our 5-point target. So there we go, kissed it again. So I'm going to roll my stops to break even at this point in case there's a pushback from that swing right there. And if I can get another bull bar, I'm going to start rolling behind anything with a tail to it. Oh, oh, they're going to tap me here, break even, stinkers. Oh, well, should have taken your Falcon target. Okay. Well, a couple of lessons to be learned from that. That's why you don't go back to the market more often than you have to. And why sometimes reversing on a position can be a viable trade. You don't want to get in the habit, though, because a lot of times the market will clobber you both ways, and that's no fun. You can see, though, how, keeping a proper stop is a big deal. So we were short down here. The proper stop, 2 swings back, was actually up here. We'd be holding in for now. Oop, and there you go. You get stopped out for the bigger amount. And they went up to hit what would have been my profit. Oh no, my profit target was 77.10. Not quite there yet. they go. Now they're going to push through to 77.10. So unfortunately for me, I got tagged on that little bit of a pullback at the break even, but the market did advance. We're almost back to the highs of the morning, certainly close to where the market opened. Wonder if the sellers are going to push back. So we could be looking for evidence of that. All right, looks like a little bit of follow through on that number one signal. That's very nice to see. Maybe, just maybe, we gonna have a little more of a bullish bent again. I don't know. Very neutral. This has been kind of the theme du jour all week, really. Well, all week, Monday, Tuesday, but even from last week, we see some decent ranges, but not much follow through, really. Market retracing the same numbers over and over and over and over. All right, well, are we going to call this a trading range? I suppose we could. in which case this now the breakout and the subsequent retest. I think the sellers are going to push back one more time. Why do I say that? Well, we had a very brisk move lower out of the open, and the market recovering, no doubt about it, but it's been a little bit more reluctant. There, I went out on a limb. But it's a qualified limb. The market has to consider breaching some sort of support first. You know, the first, well, I guess this is mini support through here. This doesn't count as support. I like, again, on the Eagle, I like to see at least two bars counter. So this is the true support. And that's obviously a long ways off. The Raptor would be one of the first to give us a counter trend opportunity if and when the market reverses. I suppose if I were smart, I would have my just in case order to buy in play, but okay, let's see if we're going to get a reversal signal here on the Raptor. Kind of run out of gas, so it seems, as we get near the highs du jour. We got green warning dots, but any one of these could count as a test to the extreme. Oh, providing the highs hold. After which we're going to come back with the sell signal. The trading band, not too terribly broad. Anytime it gets over 50 ticks, there is the potential of a reversal. Certainly, if it's 60, 70, I think one time I even saw it 80 ticks wide. It's practically screaming reverse. All right, so let's see if we got Come on, you can do it. Got one more trade in here before we gotta close up shop. All the highs are holding, but likewise so is the low. I don't want to see it swing higher at this point. I need those highs to hold if I'm going to have any attempt at a short. Okay, well, the high is still holding. Market momentum very quiet as we approach the bottom of the hour. If there's been a dominant trend, there it is. If there's been a dominant trend, the market will have a tendency to try to reverse near the bottom of the hour. Now notice the number 2 signal not printing, and yet visually it is definitely a number 2 signal. It didn't print because according to the programming parameters, perhaps there weren't enough bars between the high and the test or the retest. And if you were so inclined, you could probably stretch this trade and try to get 10 ticks out of it. And that would put us back down here somewhere where this rally began. Not looking for much, a little bit of a blow by the hard edge, or you can take it right to the hard edge. Pick up an extra tick or two. I guess our high probability target was at the hard edge, wasn't it? All right, I'll be a good boy. I'll do what I'm supposed to. Come on, you guys, you know you want to go lower. Only good thing about a counter trend position is you know the right place to put your stop. above that contract high, or not contract high, sorry, but the recent swing high. And I'll get ready at the break even when we get about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way to the profit objective. Come on. Oh, really? This now looking like a better test of the extreme. Ooh, I'm going to get tagged on this one. Don't you dare. I'm going to give it a couple more ticks. Just because of the market's tendency to breach the previous swing point by a tick or two, only to reverse and head the other direction. But I don't think I'm going to be that lucky. Not much here for the sellers at this point. Well, if they hurry up, I can stay with this trade. Otherwise, well, we'll give it another 5 minutes. Then I got to go. Okay, so sellers have to go now. There they go. Get the trade to break even, and oh, microphone's still on. Get down there, you stinkers. Right, I'm gonna cover a little bit more here. At least pay my commissions for the day. Come on. There we go. I was going to say, they want to go lower. They made the break. They owe me a little extra lower here. All right. Well, okay, we will leave it at that. If you're going to hang out here the rest of the day, well, the market's still rather conflicted. We've got bearish tendencies, to be sure. I think I would look for maybe another retest of the high, maybe another little bit of a pushback, and perhaps an early number one, or perhaps even a proper number one signal to short. Looks like the seller's going to take their turn and may even try to drive the market back down here near the lows of the morning. But you can't count the buyers out either. I know I sound just like a real trader, don't I? The market may go down, but it may go up. My immediate tendency would be to think we're going to see a little bit of a move lower today. And the reason I'm leaning toward that is mostly because here on the daily chart, all these rally days were on very, very light volume. So it does appear to me that maybe the sellers are a little bit stronger. Maybe. All right, gang. Be careful out there. I will talk at you tomorrow. See you then. Bye for now.